Rendell Harris survived 4 sea voyages that were sunk by German U-boats. On the 4th such voyage, he was accompanied by James Hope Moulton, co-author with George Milligan of Vocabulary of the Greek New Testament, one of several reference books that I studied while an undergraduate. This work took account many of the discoveries of recent papyri finds, particularly those at Oxyrhynchus, which showed the New Testament was composed of the everyday language of Koine Greek, not some hitherto unknown special biblical language. In March 1917, Dr. Moulton was just finishing an 18-month tour of India, a missionary tour, and was looking forward to returning home. It was a difficult time as his wife had recently passed and his son William perished in the French trenches some 7 months earlier. He met up with his friend Rendell Harris, who was awaiting him in Port Said, Egypt. They boarded the ship, the City of Paris, with 109 passengers and 13 crew members. The ship followed a secret zigzag path across the Mediterranean to avoid the U-boats. On the evening of Wednesday, the 4th of April, the moon was almost full, the sea was calm, a perfect opportunity for an attack. Harris went to bed fully clothed with his life jacket on. An explosion rocked the ship before midnight. Harris rushed out, found his friend James. They went to their lifeboat, were lowered to the sea, and the boat was pulled away from the ship. The next 3.5 days were miserable. As a storm whipped the boat, winds were high, it was often dark and cloudy, they were wet, cold, and exhausted. But at last a passing ship spotted the sad scene and took them to safety. They were in Corsica. Unfortunately, James Hope Moulton was not one of the survivors. Only 14 had survived. He died from exhaustion during the harrowing 3 days aboard the lifeboat, and James Rendell Harris buried him at sea. Harris wrote a letter to Moulton's loved ones describing his last hours. I will read some excerpts. He toiled at the oar till sickness overcame him. He assisted to bail out the boat and to bury the bodies of those who fell. He said words of prayer over poor Indian soldiers and never complained or lost heart for a moment through the whole of the 3 days and more. He passed away very rapidly at the end and was gone before I could get to him. His body was lying on the edge of the boat, and I kissed him for you all and said some words of love which he was past hearing. James Hope Moulton was only 53 years of age. The world will never know what further contributions he could have made to our understanding of the New Testament. 107 years have passed, and we are still indebted to his work. God rest his soul, James Hope Moulton.